Hi guys, welcome to another episode of our project analysis. I'm Jay.
I'm Sherry.
And today the projects that we are going to be talking about are
Promenade Peak versus Rivergreen.
the reason why we are going to be discussing these two projects together is because the preview is actually
On the same day, on 17 July, which the sales booking day is also on the 2nd of August, which also falls on the same day, which we also want to do this differently by also comparing these two projects together.
actually we will go in depth to the layout and we will predict the prices so you can refer to this video and have a clearer idea on which project you need to choose from if you decide to buy a unit. And today's video is going to be very heavy, but not for you guys. For us, it's heavy, so you guys can just sit back, relax, and we feel that the content today is very useful. So do watch till the end, and we hope that this video will be helpful.
Okay, so this is the artist's impression of these two projects without the logo watermark. So we will say Promenade Peak as PP versus RG as Rivergreen. So the thing to highlight here is both of them are high rise, but PP have 63-story tall at 240 meters, which make it the highest PPVC residential building in Singapore, while RG is actually 36 stories.
So both are actually quite high rise and very comparable, and that's why we want to do this together. And we believe that a lot of buyers out there who are actually looking at these two projects, you will want to know what is the differences between these two projects and also which project is better lah. So today we will actually go through that with you. And so here are the fact sheets for the project.
So the total units for PP is 596 units versus RG we have 524 units. So expected TOP for PP is on 2029 Q4, while RG is on June 2030. So it's about a year difference.
Yeah.
So we will briefly talk about the project information because the important part is about the layout and the pricing. Okay, we also seen both SHOWFLAT. It's actually very impressive. So if you are interested, it's better for you to go down and feel it yourself.
Another thing to take note here would be that Rivergreen actually has a larger land plot. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the developer.
Developer for PP is All Green Properties. They actually built the project Pasir Ris 8 and of course Royal Green, Juniper Hill and 4th Avenue Residence.
So this developer is actually quite reputable. They actually have a few projects in Singapore already. And just now the projects that Sherry mentioned, actually all are actually completed already. So if you guys really want to go and see how is the track record of the developer, you can go down to these projects that are already TOP and have a few of the projects they have built, the finishing, how they maintain and all.
So for Rivergreen itself, our developer is Wing Thai Asia. So they actually completed a few projects, which is the M, the Garden Residence, the Crest, the Tembusu, Novel 18 and Forest Square Residence.
So for this developer, they also have quite a bit of a track record, and again, most of these projects are already TOP, so you can go down and have a look as well if you want to.
Yeah, so the current one that they are still doing is the Lake Garden Residence.
That one also almost fully sold out already. So here is the location for these two projects. For this picture, we actually have 5 plots that's highlighted. You can see here, this is Rivergreen. So Rivergreen is just next to Great World MRT. Then over here is PP. And the other plots, right, this is actually the River Valley Green Pasir B. This is already awarded to GoCo Land. And then we have Zion Road Pasir A. This is another project that is also coming out by CDL. For this, right, what we want to highlight to you is that both projects are very close to each other. And both are actually very, very close to MRT. For this Rivergreen, you have actually a direct access to the Great World MRT. And then for PP, you also can walk to Great World MRT. They have an entrance that is nearer, but if not, it's also fully sheltered to Havelock MRT. And the thing we want to highlight here is that both projects are within 1 km to River Valley Primary School. For parents out there, you're looking for a project that is near to a good school, you have this. And of course, these two projects are very close to Great World City also, so they have shopping malls and you get to live in River Valley area where it is an area whereby a lot of Singaporeans love to stay.
Okay, so for the unit mix itself, majority of them are 1 and 2 beders. For PP, we actually have more than 50% that is 1 bedder and 2 beders. For RG itself as well, if you can see, we also have more than 50% that is a smaller unit style.
Correct. And the thing we want to highlight here is that although these two projects are very similar, one key difference is that for PP, they actually built normal sizes. For Rivergreen, they actually built smaller unit type. You see, for the 1 bedroom and the 1 bath study is only less than 500 square feet. Then the special thing about this project, right, is that the 2 bedroom actually starts from 527 square feet. So the layout wise, later we will show you. But this is something that is unique for Rivergreen. And with the smaller bedroom type, the starting prices are also lower because of the smaller unit sizes. The thing to highlight here is that later on you'll see the floor plan, right? You can see that actually it's quite efficient and it's not like those shoebox layout in River Valley area, those boutique projects like you see in RV altitude. Those are really like 2 bedroom, 400 square feet. But this one, I feel that is still quite livable. Later on, we will show you guys more.
So for the site plan itself, you can see that RG, we have a bigger land plot that have more facility and the facility are more spread out. And we also have a proper tennis court, while PP itself, right, we only have a pickleball court. So both of them have sky garden, then you can oversee the city view.
For PP, right, they have a few sky gardens. So they have it like on a certain speed level, and then for Rivergreen is actually on the highest level. Rivergreen, the facilities is actually spread out, and you can see over here the stacks, the blocks, right? The residential units are actually here, then the rest are actually the facilities. And also just now you mentioned that the land plot is actually bigger for Rivergreen lah. That's why it's able to build and have the landscaping, the facilities more spread out in a way.
So for PP, right, we want to highlight is a bit more unique because they actually have only 3-bedder from level 2 to level 62, while the 1-bedder and 2-bedder, right, are from level 2 to level 42. For 3-bedder, 4-bedder and 5-bedder will be from level 44 onwards. So we want to classify them under luxury category because it's actually at the higher floor. So that's why we feel that the developer actually built the premium on level 44 onwards.
For PP is actually very unique because they have different bedroom types at certain levels, and as Sherry mentioned, level 44 onwards, they have the 3-bedroom to 5-bedroom premium units. It comes with private lift, only 6 units per floor, and also higher ceiling height. Then for certain 1 to 3 bedrooms units, they have it from level 2 to level 42. So this design is quite unique, but it can also be confusing. But later on, we will actually go through the floor plans so you have a clearer idea which units are at which floor.
Okay, so for Rivergreen itself is more standard. We actually have only one tower with 36 stories. So it's direct connected to the Great World MRT.
And they have the sky garden, the sky deck over here on the highest level. They actually have a bar, but I think you have to book the space and then you can host your own parties there. And just now we mentioned the facilities are more spread out. So over here is like that, shaped like that lah. So here comes the heavy part and also the important parts from here onwards. Because for PP, as of now we are filming this video, the indicative starting prices are not released yet. That's why we have to do our own prediction in order to compare the prices with Rivergreen. The Rivergreen starting prices have already been released and later on we will also share with you. So for this 3-bedroom, how we do it is that we will actually use 3003 as the highest PSF for this development, and then we will actually use a 0.5 per floor jump downwards all the way to the level 2. So why we use 0.5, right, is because we have actually take reference from the projects nearby, like Canning Hill Piers or the high-rise one, and also another all-green project which is Sky Suites at Anson. The per floor jump is about 0.5%, and that's why we use that as a reference for this project as well. And if you look at it, at level 62 is 3003 PSF. For the 1195 square feet unit, which is the premium unit with the private lift, it will be at 3009. Then we go downwards all the way until level 42. From level 42 downwards, it will be the normal 3-bedroom units without the private lift. So our predicted price for level 42 is actually 3.083 million. And then we will use 0.5 downwards. And then you will get the starting prices for the 3-bedroom, which is 2.52 million.
Hey Jay, but actually the thing that you actually calculated, right, for 3-bedder going at 2.5 million, is it considered quite attractive?
I think it's quite attractive considering the fact that there are also transactions in the resale market that has already done higher than this. which later on we will share also. So looking at these numbers, I think it's quite attractive. But we also want to compare it with the prices of Rivergreen. Then we can decide at what point which unit you should go for, which project you should go for.
So now we want to go through the Rivergreen floor plan. Basically, we have one bedder and one bedder plus study. So for the one bedder, actually is very functional because we actually have a tuck-in kitchen right at the corner. I think this layout is quite
unique, quite rare for one bedder.
Yeah.
Two bedder, sometimes we will see a tuck-in kitchen, but for one bedder, it's actually quite rare.
Yes, it's super rare. One plus study, right? We actually have the study right at the corner as well. So this study area, right, we actually can do a pull-down bed, or else we can do it as a storage. Why is that we can do a pull-down bed? Because we actually can close up the study area and then the bathroom is actually connected lah.
Yes, that's right. Because your guests don't need to go into your master bedroom to go into your toilet. They have a door here also. So here you can actually do a folding door. Then when your guest comes over, they can actually enter from here lah. Then this door you can close. And the size is quite decent also. I think you can either use it as a study, you can put a pull-down bed, or you can use it as storage. So these layouts, we feel that it is actually very efficient and usable, functional as well. And do take note that for these two projects, they are both harmonized. So the aircon latch is not charged to your GFA. So decent size for master bedroom, living room also quite decent. You have a proper dining area over here. Then just now Sherry mentioned the tuck-in kitchen. And this will be the layout for Rivergreen. For Rivergreen one bedroom, we will do it as a standalone because the size is actually much smaller. We will be doing the PP1 plus study together with the Rivergreen 2-bedroom 1-bath because it's the same size. Next up, we will be doing the prediction for the prices for Rivergreen using the same 0.5 per floor jump as PP because we mentioned just now Canning Hill Piers high-rise projects, they are actually usually about 0.5 per floor jump. We will use this for Rivergreen as well. And for Rivergreen, right, we already have the starting prices ready. The developer already released lah. For the one bedroom, it will start from 1.2 million. So very attractive. This is like almost OCR prices already, right? And using the same 0.5 per floor jump, we have all the way to level 36. So this will be the highest prices for one bedroom and one plus study. Okay, so how we're going to do this is that we will zone the prices into 3 categories. Green zone is safe, yellow zone is acceptable, and the red zone is high and a bit on the danger side lah. And for the one bedroom, we will determine the zones by using 2 factors. The first thing will be transacted prices for Irwell Hill residences because it's also 99 years, it's almost the same age, and is in the same area. And then secondly, we will use the rental yield to also determine our zones. So first point, we use Irwell Hill prices as a reference. We know that there is actually a sub-sale transaction at Irwell, which the unit is 495 square feet, 1 plus study at 2989 PSF. So 2989 PSF. This is a 1 plus S, 495 square feet. And we know that this price, because it's in the sub-sale market, means that it's already been accepted in the resale market. And if we take this same price, 2989, and we want to convert it into harmonized price, because for both these two projects, it's harmonized. So we take 2989 plus 7% because usually the harmonization is about 6 to 8%. So 7% is an average. So we plus 7%, we will get 3198 PSF. So we know that this 2989 accepted at Irwell as a resale price. Then we convert this into the prices after harmonization, 3189. But before you think that below this 3189 PSF is very safe, we want to share with you that there's another factor that will also affect the resale demand, which is the rental yield. So just now the point 2 that I mentioned. This is important because for these projects, the 1 and 2 bedders, a lot of the buyers will be investors. And a lot of you will be buying for investment. So over here, for Irwell Hill, the average rental for the 1 bedroom is 4,002. And we will use 4,005 as a projected rental for Rivergreen because the layout is better and it's harmonized. Means the Irwell Hill 1 plus study is about 450 to 500 square feet. But over here, we have 420 and 452. And we convert the size after harmonization, it's actually around the same size. With that, we will have our cut-off price for the Rivergreen, which is 1.312. Because at this level 20, this price over here, at 4,005 rental yield, because for a well, the average is about 4,002 rental, right? And just now we mentioned the Rivergreen layout is better. We will show you in our next slide why we feel so. So we use 4,005 as the average rental. You will get 4.1% rental yield. And we shared in our previous video on Robertson Opus, the average rental for River Valley area is around 3% plus lah. For this 420 square feet unit, let's say you are a buyer and then you buy at 1.3 million. You want to sell at 1.5 because you want to have a decent profit, right? If your next buyer buy at 1.5, then the rental they get is 4,005. At 4,005, 1.5 million, the yield is actually at 3.6%. So this is actually still considered attractive for the next buyer, and at the same time you'll be able to make a reasonable amount of profit because you buy 1.3, then you sell 1.5, you get about 200k paper gain, right? And for the 1+ study, we feel that the study space is very efficient. Just now Sherry mentioned already, we can really use it. If you buy at 1.4 million over here and you sell at 1.6, right, it's actually at 3.5% rental yield.
Actually, it's still quite attractive lah.
Yeah,
right?
because we mentioned for River Valley area is 3+%, right? So again, it's still fairly attractive for them. That's why for this 1 bedroom, right, our green zone ends here. For the 1+ study at 1.4 million, then our green zone ends here at 1.3 million for the smaller 1 bedroom. Above this will be the yellow zone. Of course, you still can buy the yellow zone, but it's just that your profit margin might be smaller. And for the 1+ study, the danger zone will be once it touches over here, the 1.5 million. Because at this price, you can actually get a 2-bed 1-bath at Rivergreen already. So we definitely want to avoid these units because they will be direct competition for you next time when you want to sell in the resale market. So it really depends on your queue number and your budget. Then you see what is the best option that is available at that point of time. Because we don't know what is going to be your situation, so we can only give you a guide as to what is the safe price to buy lah. So we will do the same thing for both projects, and we will also compare both projects. Then it's clearer for you to see which to go for at what point of purchase.
Okay, so we want to justify what we said earlier. For a well 1+ study, the average rental is about 4,002. So the one on the left-hand side, they have a proper study area, but there's no proper dining area, and the kitchen is at the side. Okay, so for the middle layout, if you can see, the flexi is in between the toilet and master, so we cannot do a close-up bedroom. So for the study to the master, right, we do not have a door over there lah, so you need to actually walk to the master bath. Then there is no door that separate from the study area and the master area.
Yes, correct. So it's also a bit weird lah to have your study in between your master and your master bathroom also.
So for the third layout, also don't have a proper dining area. In conclusion, right, we think that the Rivergreen layout is so much better and can command a better rental yield, not forgetting that it's harmonized.
Yeah.
So now we will have comparison between PP 1+ study and Rivergreen 2-bed 1-bath. For the 1+ study PP first layout, right, if you want to do a pull-down bed, actually it's not long enough in the study area. So we feel that the space likely is for storage lah. The second layout, actually we have a lot of wasted space in the unit itself, so it will actually look smaller because there isn't any dining area as well.
Yeah, there's a long walkway, and then this study over here really is like just more of like a storage space, because if you cover up here, you also cannot put like a bed over here because they have the door here, you have a door here also. So the study space we feel that is not super functional, and then the second layout also long walkway, and don't really have a proper dining area also.
Maybe can put as a storage space lor.
It's a 1+ storage. It's not a 1+ study.
Okay, so now let's go to the 2-bed 1-bath in Rivergreen itself. I think the layout is really very efficient because we actually still have the proper kitchen again. No wasted space because it's a dumbbell layout. And if you compare 2 layouts together, right, actually we really prefer the 2-bed 1-bath. So the difference between the 2 layouts that we have right here is actually the balcony lah, and then a slight difference in our kitchen area. But to be exact, they are actually quite similar.
Yes, correct. Right.
Okay, let's go to the prices.
So for PP, we have to predict the prices because, as I mentioned just now, we don't have the prices released yet right now as we film this video. So just now we already have the predicted prices for the 3-bedroom, right? Because the 3-bedroom is the only unit type that has from level 2 all the way to level 62. And using the 3-bedroom prices, we will actually add 3% premium to each bedroom type. So to explain this, the 3-bedroom, right, we want to get the 2-bedroom price, we add 3% premium to it. Then we want to get the 1-bedroom price, we add another 3% to the 2-bedroom price.
Yeah.
So this way we have the predicted prices for the 1+ study at PP. And why we use 3% is because we noticed that usually developers will add about 5% more for each bedroom type. But for this project, due to the 2 projects launching together and the competition, we feel that the developer might be more competitive with their pricing, hence we use the 3% instead of the usual 5%, and it could be even lesser. So disclaimer, these prices are just predicted prices from our research. Of course, if there's any differences from the actual prices, please do not come and scold us. You can come and find us to help you choose a unit, but please do not come and scold us. So these are the prices for the PP1+ study. Our predicted price will be starting from 1.36 million, and then for the Rivergreen prices, we already have the release price for the 2-bed 1-bath, which will start from 1.5 million. Okay, so for our zoning, which one are our safe zones? Okay, so looking at these prices, right, for PP, our green zone will actually end at 1.4 million, because for 1.4 million, you will still be able to get 4% rental yield. Although it is bigger in size compared to Rivergreen 1+ study, we feel that you cannot really use the study as a real study. It's more like a storage space. And because of the efficiency of the layout, we actually feel that even though this unit is 527, bigger than the Rivergreen's 1-bedroom, right, it will command around the same rental. So at 1.4 million, your rental yield is about 4%. And for this, we will take 4,007 times 12 is 56400. And we take this annual rental divide by 1.4 million, you will get 4% rental yield. And if you buy in at 1.4 million, you sell at 1.6 million. The rental yield for the next buyer is at 3.6%. Again, this is still considered attractive for future buyers, but if you buy at 1.5 million, for example, then you want to sell at 1.7. The rental yield using the same 4,005 rental yield, this will be 3.2% rental yield. A bit low to make it attractive for the next buyer, but still borderline acceptable. This is considering the fact that you want to have a reasonable amount of profit on your property. But of course, if you want to buy at 1.5 million and you don't mind profiting lesser by selling at 1.6 million, then you can also do that. And that's why it falls under our yellow zone from 1.4 to 1.5 million. So for this case, we feel that 1.4 million and below is still considered a safe entry price. And to add on to that, if you buy the PP's 1+ study at 1.5 million, is touching this 2-bed 1-bath price over here already at Rivergreen, and they are going to be a direct competitors next time. So if your budget and your queue allows, we will actually opt for this 2-bed 1-bath in Rivergreen. But our max for the 2-bed 1-bath at Rivergreen, right, will be until 1.7 million, because above this price you'll be touching the 2-bed 2-bath price at Rivergreen already, which makes it a bit unsafe. So that's the comparison for 1+ study, PP, and also RG 2-bed 1-bath.
So now we will actually compare the 2-bed 2-bath for PP and 2-bed 1-bath for Rivergreen. So basically, we actually have our top choice. Our top choice is B1 of PP. Because actually we have our proper dining area, and of course we also have a little privacy at the doorsteps, and I think this layout don't have much wasted space. While the others are almost similar, they are also quite comparable, but I feel that some of them have very long walkway. So this is one of the top choice that we will actually pick. Yeah.
So we have already went through for the 2-bed 1-bath at Rivergreen. So now it's just to show you the 2-bed 2-bath. So now we will compare the prices for Rivergreen 2-bed 1-bath and PP 2-bed 2-bath. For buyers who only want to consider 2-bed 2-bath, then you can skip to the next part. But for buyers considering whether to pay more for the 2-bed 2-bath, let us share more with you. We have an example of Irwell Hill over here. These two units at 603 square feet and 657 square feet. One is a 2-bed 1-bath, this is a 2-bed 2-bath. They bought on the same day, 10 April 2021, then they sold just one day apart. And during launch, 2-bed 1-bath bought at 1.488 million. 2-bed 2-bath bought at 1.68 million. So the price difference is 192k. Then during resale, the price difference is 170k.
But ROI is actually higher for 2 bed 1 bath. So does it mean that the 2 bed 1 bath is better?
Actually, we cannot tell just from this one data, but the key thing here is that the 2 bed 1 bath will also have its own demand. So if you have a budget, you can only buy a 2 bed 1 bath and it's your turn to choose a unit and there's something available, you can also consider this 2 bed 1 bath without worrying that there's no demand next time. And when choosing a unit to go for, most importantly is to make sure that there's a healthy price gap of your 2 bed 1 bath unit to the next closest 2 bed 2 bath option so that it still remains attractive for your future buyers. In our next slide, we will share our price zoning.
So now we will want to compare the PP 2 bed 2 bath versus RG 2 bed 1 bath. So at the right hand side, we actually have the chart for 2 bed 1 bath. Our 2 bed 1 bath start for 1.5 million. So for RG 2 bed 2 bath, it will start at 1.71 million. For PP itself, 2 bed 2 bath, it starts from 1.65 million. So we actually want to make sure that you are not buying too close to the price of 2 bed 2 bath. That's why our green zones end at 1.6 million. So we actually put our 1.6 to 1.65 million as the yellow zone because we know that there's a low floor 2 bed 1 bath that are transacted in a well for 1.69 million. So you actually can consider this.
Yeah, so you still can consider between this 1.6 to 1.65 range because of the transaction at a well. But above 1.6 million, right, it's better for you to go for a 2 bed 2 bath in PP because it starts from 1.65 million. So that's why I think that the rate zone for the Rivergreen 2 bed 1 bath will start from 1.66 million because then you can buy a 2 bed 2 bath already.
Okay, so we have our 2 bed 2 bath comparison for both PP and RG. We have actually chosen our top choice earlier for PP, which is the B1. So now let's compare with RG 2 bed 2 bath. If you can see RG 2 bed 2 bath, we have it at 603 square feet. It's also very efficient and it's almost the same like the 2 bed 1 bath we saw earlier, just that we have extra one more bathroom. So RG, although it's smaller, right, but we actually have no wasted space. Like we mentioned earlier, we have the tuck-in kitchen, we have the dumbbell layout. So for this, right, we actually prefer the Rivergreen layout.
Yeah, for the 2 bed 2 bath, if we compare side by side, we will still prefer Rivergreen layout. But then ultimately, you also have to see the prices. That's why next slide we will show you. So the difference between the layout for the two projects is the enclosed kitchen and also the dumbbell versus traditional layout. And our first choice for layout wise will be Rivergreen, and layout wise for PP itself, the 2 bed 2 bath, different layouts, actually not too much difference lah. So we need to really see the price to determine which unit to buy. And for PP below 1.71 million, it will all be green zone because it's cheaper than RG 2 bed 2 bath. But we still feel that if you have enough budget and your queue number allows you to get a 2 bed 2 bath in Rivergreen at the low 1.7 million-ish, go for that instead because it's a better layout. And above 1.7 million, we will go for Rivergreen ready. Over here, our green zone actually ends at 1.82 million, where it becomes yellow zone because the 2 plus study at Rivergreen actually starts from 1.872 based on our prediction. We try not to touch a unit at 2 plus study pricing so that we still can have a 50,000 gap for one more study. Red zone definitely we want to avoid because that's the same price as the 2 plus study already. All this red zone, all we will not touch over here. For PP yellow zone, it will be all the way up to 1.82 million. Because above this price is the red zone, and we will suggest that you go for a Rivergreen 2 plus study instead. Another data to support this is actually what we shared earlier on, where there is a low floor 2 bed 2 bath at Awell Hill Residences that's transacted at 1.86 million. At 1.86 million and below, you're most likely getting a mid-floor at PP or Rivergreen, which are both newer projects. So we think that it is still quite safe for this.
Okay, so now let's dive into our 2 bed 2 bath PP versus our 2 bed plus study in RG. Just now earlier we did mention our 2 bed 2 bath PP layout. So now we just dive into our 2 bed plus study. So for 2 bed plus study, right, the study area is actually tucked at the side, and you actually can convert into a storage or a study room. Same thing that we actually have this tuck-in kitchen and of course our dumbbell layout. So if you want us to choose, we will still choose RG because the layouts plays a part lah. Like we mentioned earlier, I think the price point also plays a very important part on this.
Yeah. Just now we already shared the zoning for the PP 2 bed 2 bath. Now we compare it to the 2+ study so you can have a clearer view of the predicted prices. We know that the smallest 3-bedroom in Rivergreen, 786 square feet, starts from 2.25 million. This is already released by developer. But the 3rd bedroom can only fit a single bed, but with a wardrobe. So it's actually like a 2+ study on steroids lah. With that said, we feel that 150k is an acceptable price gap for the additional smaller bedroom plus the enclosed kitchen and with windows for all the bathrooms and kitchen. That is why our green zone for this 2+ study at Rivergreen ends at 2.1 million. So that we still have a 150k gap from this to the 3-bedroom small one. And yellow zone stops at 2.15 million over here, so that there's still a 100k gap for the 2+ study and the 3-bedroom. Above 2.15, it will all be our red zone already because we feel that you will have a stiff competition to sell next time because the price is too close to the smallest 3-bedroom in Rivergreen already.
Okay, so now we actually like to go through our 2+ study PP versus our 3-bedroom in RG. So actually the size is actually quite similar lah because RG itself we have 786 square feet. We actually want to talk about the layout itself. For PP itself, right, we actually have quite a bit of wasted space. If you can see from the first layout itself, right, our study is actually right at the corner and then we have a really long kitchen area. Then it comes to your dining and living hall area. It's actually quite a lot of wasted space at the front lah. So for the second one, I think it's quite similar. Also, same thing, very long walkway into the house. The study area is tied at the corner and then the longish kitchen area again. So for the third layout itself, right, it looks a little bit better lah because the kitchen actually a little bit of tuck-in. But then of course, same thing again, the wasted space will be on the walk-in area and the study area itself.
This is called storage.
I think we cannot enclose because if you're going to enclose it, right, I think you have a very small walkway.
I think it's like a space for you to do your carpentry work.
Yeah, maybe you can do your shoe rack areas. Let's compare with the RG 3-bedroom. RG 3-bedroom, right, we actually have our proper kitchen with windows. And not only that, our 3rd bedroom, right, we only can fit a single bed. But then same thing lah, we still have windows right at the bathroom itself. So if you compare again, we will still choose our Rivergreen.
Definitely lah. I mean, looking at this, if I tell you I prefer PP, you also will think that I am talking nonsense, right? Because at least here is a proper bedroom. This one 786 is even smaller than this 797.
Right.
So layout wise, yes, we will choose Rivergreen.
Yeah, and again, we still want to compare with our prices again first
over here actually the prices are the most important
right.
Because the sizes are quite similar. So here are our prices. We will compare the 2+ study with the Rivergreen 786 square feet 3-bedroom because the sizes are so similar, right? Honestly, the PP layouts, like I mentioned, they are not great. The 2+ study. The study is not very functional and it feels more like a small space for storage. It's more like a larger size 2-bed 2-bath. So we do not have a green zone for PP 2+ study. And it will start from yellow zone. Below 2.1 million, you can opt for Rivergreen 2+ study because the layout is much efficient. This is 3-bedroom. So below 2.1 M over here is all our yellow zone. If you have the budget, if your queue number allows, we rather you go for the 2+ study in Rivergreen rather than you go for a PP 2+ study. But if you really cannot get a unit at Rivergreen and you have a budget constraint, then you can still consider to get a 2+ study at PP below 2.1 million. And as for the small 3-bedroom in Rivergreen, 786 square feet, our green zone ends at 2.4 million over here because based on our predicted prices, the 872 and the 883 square feet 3-bedroom comes with proper 3rd bedroom and also bomb shelter. They will start from 2.5 million. And then the 1033 square feet 3-bedroom unit in PP also starts from 2.5 million based on our predicted prices lah. So we want to leave 100,000 gap for the proper bedroom and the bomb shelter. Above 2.4 million will be our yellow zone, in which if your budget is stuck between this range and you want to get a 3-bedroom unit in River Valley, you can still consider these units in the yellow zone for this 3-bedroom at Rivergreen. However, once it reaches 2.5 million, then we'll advise you to go for the bigger 3-bedroom in Rivergreen or PP instead.
Okay, so now let's dive into our 3-bedroom versus 3-bedroom. Honestly, right, I think Rivergreen win again lah, because if you can see the layouts in C1, right, the balconies are really huge. Maybe you can have your alfresco area.
Yeah, outside here.
Yeah, correct. And then for the C2, right, actually the layout is super weird lah, because you have really very long walkway and very narrow living room area. Even the walkway to the bedroom are also very long. So I think the developer had to design it in this way, right, because the whole building is actually shaped like that. So they actually have a different unit type on level 44 onwards. So in order to make the design works, right, certain bedrooms have to be more unique designs lah. Now we want to compare with our Rivergreen layout. Rivergreen layout, right, is actually no wasted space again. We also have our tuck-in kitchen and proper dining hall area. Despite it as a typical layout, right, we do not have extra walkway right in the middle of the house also.
Yeah, you see the size difference 1033 and maybe this 883. The difference is about 150 square feet. Of this 150, maybe some went here, then a lot went to here. And we feel that this Rivergreen layout is really quite efficient. They have everything you need in a 3-bedroom.
And the balcony also quite good size.
Except for a yard. This is the only thing that is missing. But in terms of these two layout wise, we feel that if you remove the wasted space in PP, then the size will be actually around the same already.
So now we still prefer our Rivergreen. So now let's go to the price.
So before we go into the predicted prices and the zoning, right, we want to highlight to you that there is actually a 3-bedroom 861 square feet unit in Irwell Hill Residences that has already transacted at 3066 PSF. So this layout here also same as the Rivergreen, the small 3-bedroom. You cannot fit a queen size bed in the 3rd bedroom. And that's why we will use this price to set our benchmark for the 3-bedrooms later on. Because like we said, this price has already been accepted in the resale market. So if we convert this price over here, 3066 square feet, right, with plus 7% harmonization, it will be 3280 PSF. So you remember this number we will use as the benchmark price for our 3-bedroom. Now let us go to our next slide. Now we compare the 3-bedroom in PP versus Rivergreen 3-bedroom, and these are the predicted prices. Based on our previous slide, we feel that below $3,280 PSF is actually quite safe to enter. But the thing is that the 4-bedroom for Rivergreen actually starts from 2.8 million, right? So our cutoff point for the green zone will be 2.8 million over here for these two projects. No yellow zone for this because above 2.8 million, you should actually opt for the 4-bedroom Rivergreen already. But if you have a choice to choose either project at the same price, we would prefer Rivergreen because we feel that the layout is more efficient than PP. Okay?
So this is Rivergreen 4-bedroom layout. We will actually like to do it standalone because there's no direct comparison. So for the 3-bedroom premium or for PP, right, we actually come with a private lift. And then our predicted price that starts from 3.5 million due to the high floor level at 44.
Yeah, so this one will be just a standalone comparison, and above the 3-bedroom premium onwards, then we will compare it differently already. We won't be doing the prices already.
So what do you think about this layout?
I think quite efficient. You have your proper bedrooms, you have your proper kitchen, but don't have yard. I think 4-bedroom you need to have a yard. It's quite important. Then another thing is that if they are able to squeeze 4-bedroom into 980 square feet, your living area might be slightly smaller.
Yeah.
And also the thing to highlight here is that they don't have the wardrobe over here at the 3rd and 4th bedroom. So you have to put your own wardrobe or you install your own.
I think the buyer profile here likely to be an upgrader.
Upgrader, you want to stay in River Valley area. This price is very attractive. This is like OCR 4-bedroom price really.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, this layout is quite good, just that don't have the yard and your living area might be smaller, and also don't have the wardrobe over here.
Yes.
Just now, we already used the 3-bedroom at Irwell as the benchmark PSF. After conversion, after harmonization, is 3280. But for this 4-bedroom, just like what we did earlier on for the different bedroom types, if you remember, we said earlier on, for each bedroom type, we will add another 3% to the PSF, right? In this case, because it's a bigger bedroom type than the 3-bedroom, we will minus 3% for this case. So we take 3280 minus 3% is actually 3182. You get 3182, And that is why our green zone actually ends here. Above this will be our yellow zone until 3280. Then it will be red zone after that already. This is the price prediction plus the zoning for a 4-bedroom. After this, we will just be comparing the layouts for the 3-bedroom premiums and 4-bedroom plus 5-bedroom in PP already, because there's no more comparison. Okay?
So we would like to actually go through our PP 3-bedroom premium. So on the left hand side, we have our CP1. We actually have a private lift in our 3-bedroom. And I think this layout quite good lah, because we actually have all the privacies in all the bedrooms. For the living hall itself, I think it's also quite huge. And then for the dining area for you to host also not bad lah. The balcony size is also quite decent. Yeah, so this layout I think quite good lah. To be honest. So for CP2 itself, right, we also have our private lift here, and then the living hall is really huge because the dining is right in front of us, and then your dining, you can move towards your private lift area. Then you have even more space in your living hall area. Basically, I think this layout is also very efficient.
For this bedroom type and above, we never go and do the price comparison really, because we feel that buyers buying these kind of prices, they actually will be buying based on something that they prefer,
really like,
and something the layout is good and efficient. That's why after the 4-bedroom and Rivergreen, then we stop comparing already. These two layout conclusion, very efficient.
Which one will you choose?
I would probably choose this CP2 because of the big living room and also kitchen tucked to one side. So I think this layout is quite good.
Okay. So now let's dive into our 4-bedroom in PP. Same thing, we have our private lift. So for DP1 itself, I think the layout is a bit more longish. But then same thing here, like when you host and all, your guests won't really see your bedroom because it was tucked at the back of the house. We will actually walk in from the private lift, and then we have a back door from the kitchen area. For DP2, I think the layout is almost the same. We also have this landscaping layout in the living hall area. And then for the DP3, I think this is one of the better layout I like. I like this layout because you actually can extend all the way to the balcony area, and then you have bigger living space and it looks like a landed.
I think quite unique this layout. Like even the DP2, this layout, right, is like the room all one side, then your living one side.
Yeah, I think it's more of the privacy already lah, for people paying this kind of price. So I think this is fall in the luxury category lah. So buyer will buy something they like just based on whatever they see in the layout itself.
Then lastly, we have our 5-bedroom premium lift.
Same thing, my landscaping, very big. Basically, this is also a very typical layout lah. If you can see, same thing, our bedrooms are all tucked at the back, and then the guests will actually stay in the living hall area and the balcony area. I think this one will definitely have a very nice view.
Surely, this one from level 44 onwards, very nice view one. Yeah, the balcony quite long. I think the zip track should be quite expensive. Yeah, but you can afford this, you can afford zip track. I think very usable. You have everything you need in a 5-bedroom. The finishes will all be top notch, definitely.
And the good thing about this size is that all of them, they have their own bedrooms.
Yes, correct. And with that, we have come to the end of our project analysis.
Actually, the whole thing quite confusing, right?
Super confusing. Even as we prepare the slides, it's also very confusing. But we hope that us being confused will help to bring more clarity to you. To sum it up, I think it's very confusing to choose between these two projects. But we hope that this video actually helps you to have a clearer idea as to which project to choose during the day of your purchase. Key thing here is that even though the layout is important, but for these two projects, the price is the most important, because if the layout is not too good, but the price gap between the not too good layout and the good layout is too much, then it's actually better for you to go for the cheaper unit. And if you find that this is too confusing, it's okay, you know who to look for. You can call us. And also, if you like our content, we hope that you will subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, and hope that you can support our future videos. Look for us if you have any questions. That's all for today.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.